Welcome back to MPL Recall. We just finished talking about Blacklist and NXP. Ngayon, pag-usapan muna natin ang isa pang miyembro ng Group B. Kasi parang Group B ang medyo mainit. Group B ang parang Wild Wild West pa rin ng MPL Season 7. Once more, my name is Leo. Joined here by Paolo Expert and Renmar the Reptar. Nakaisa ang EXECRATION. They were on a 5-game losing streak. And after a long and grueling best of 3 against Signal Ultra, finally, nakaisa sila. They started in week 4 when they got swept by Omega. Next up, they lost to Onyx, then to Blacklist, then to Work, na na-turn around lang, reverse sweep yon, and then to NXP. So that's already a long list. And then finally, Signal Ultra. My question is, what has been going wrong? 5 games in a row. Hindi na yan chamba-chamba. Hindi na yan parang naisahan tayo doon. It's 5 games in a row. So what has been going wrong? I'd like to ask Reptar first, man. You casted some of these games. What did you see?
Yeah. Well, some of them boiled down to just, heat of the moment. You're in game. Some shot calls, some decisions work, some don't, and then more often than not, they just didn't. Kung balikan nyo yung lose streak ng EXECRATION, they were taking games. It wasn't all complete 2-0 stomps. They were taking games against Blacklist, they were taking games against Onyx, Work. But then, other than their aggression sometimes coming back to bite them and, leading to them losing, there are crucial moments where they lose a team fight or get picked off when they shouldn't have, but then they decided to take the fight anyway. I feel like some of the problems in EXECRATION might be outside of the game na. Hindi ako masyado familiar sa organization ng EXECRATION. And I'm sure that their coaching staff has this. But I hope they have something close to a life coach. Kasi kung base lang sa social media ng mga players, of course, hindi ko sinasabi na hindi maganda yung support group ng EXECRATION. One of the reasons why we love EXECRATION so much is their support group as a team is quite legendary. Ika nga, power of friendship sila. But hopefully they have a coach or a senior member that they can talk to and vent their frustrations. Kasi yun natin nakita natin in game minsan, yung mga frustrations nila. Umabot sa punto yung mga, because like after 2 or 3 game losses, they started to be more overly aggressive kahit hindi naman kailangan. It started throwing them off. Kita nga sa body language nila pag nag-bootcamp camera tayo na you can see it really, like they're down, they're slumped, parang lagi sila nag-iisip, there's something weighing them down. So I'm not sure if they have it, but hopefully they have someone there talaga who can really just give them advice and help them get in check in terms of mentally and emotionally, because these are fantastic players. They don't need to change much, but maybe that's something that needs work and something they need help with.
Okay, interesting take. I have seen some players on social media na parang pagod nga sila, parang may dinadamdam. Paolo Expert, is this also your conclusion or may iba pa ba na factor ang EXECRATION?
Yeah, majority ng sinabi ni Reptar, actually if not all of them, I agree. Kasi nakikita ko yung mga social media posts ng mga players, tama siya. Especially just to point out, Kill VJ, is it me or is it that kahit yung jungler nila palaging depressed? I don't get it. Kahit yung si Hate, yung nasa roster nila, Hate was depressed. And then now it's Kill VJ. Man, I don't know what the problem is with that team, honestly. In terms of, with the mentality. Ito siguro yung nagkukulang kay Pacbet. And to be honest, ito rin yung nagkulang sa akin nung nagsisimula akong mag-coach. And I still lack on this section. Right? Ito yung weakness point ko eh. Dealing with players, their mentality. Kung paano ko sila i-motivate, super importante yun as a coach. I think Pacbet is mostly focusing on the draft and the game itself, but not really, outside the game. Parang feel ko hindi niya natutulungan siguro yung mga bata. Lalo na may narinig ako mga stories about Kill VJ when he was on other teams na nagka-problema rin siya na similar to this, but he had guidance since bata pa nga siya. So yeah, lalo na pag bata yung kino-coach mo, you really need to guide him through and get their motivation going. Kasi pag wala kang ginagawa, hinahayaan mo lang puro straight yung talo, oh man, they're gonna lose confidence and they're just gonna keep playing like I don't want to say, okay, they're just gonna keep playing bad, okay?
Yeah.
I think more motivation.
Okay, tough. You did mention something very important, Paolo, is sabi mo, Coach Pacbet focuses more on the game and the draft. I don't know what it's like. I haven't spoken to Joma in a bit, but to Jomi, but my thought also is maybe kailangan ni Pacbet ng analyst. Hindi ko alam kung meron sila, but maybe Pacbet needs someone to think outside the box with him or to watch their gameplays with him para sabihin, oy, ito yung ibang pwedeng gawin or ito yung pwede mong i-improve. Kasi Pacbet was a player once. He knows how it's like to sit there. Pero you know, at this level of the MPL, you'll use any kind of help you can get. An extra opinion, a second opinion. So, siguro kaya rin siya hindi makafocus dun sa pag-motivate is because, yun nga, sobrang tuyot na yung utak ni Mr. Mobile Legends sa draft pa lang or sa laro pa lang nila na ang hirap na. So, maybe they could use extra hands. It's not too late. I think we have seen in previous seasons of the MPL na kumukuha sila ng extra help mid-season or bago mag-playoffs. Baka pwede pa. Diba? Like, I don't know. Who am I to say that to Execration? But if they do make it in the playoffs, their chances look good pa rin naman, I think. Baka nga yun ang pwede nilang gawin.
Yeah, because I don't know why. Like, something I just want to add. There's just something so sad about seeing Execration sad. Di ko alam kung bakit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because sobrang sanay tayo pag nakita natin Execration na lagi nakakatawa sa social media or, you know, they're always having fun. But maingay. But this version of Exec, maybe it's because of the weight of expectations finally getting to them. Maybe that's what's weighing them down and hindi sila makalabas dun sa mindscape na yun, which is mahirap talaga eh. It's like as a former coach myself, and it is something tough to do, as Paolo said, that yeah, you can think about the drafts, you can think about execution so much, but one of the hardest things about coaching is taking it away from the game and focusing on the personalities, focusing on the human side of it all. So, man, hopefully we get to see more smiling Execration. It felt nice to see them get that win. I just wish all the best for Exec, man, and I hope they figure it out.
Nung nanalo yung Exec, parang tayong lahat nanalo rin. Alright? Like, it was such a breath of fresh air. Parang nabunutan ng tinik. But, I hope that, again, they have a hope for the playoffs. It's not too late. Get the help they need or maybe switch up their priorities. Coach Pacbet, maybe, you know, check in on the boys a little more. If you already are, then maybe onting extra pa. Kasi sobrang importante nga nun eh. But we're not here to tell you guys what to do. We're just trying to, you know, figure it out. But just the same, we'll move on to our next topic, which we did a little bit of foreshadowing on earlier. Work beat Onic. Onic beats Bren. Bren beats Work. Ito ang rock, paper, scissors meta. Okay? Na-confirm to nung natalo ng Bren ang Work in a sweep ulit nung Saturday night, and si Wolf yata ang unang nag-post nito, no? Sabi niya, legit na siya. Kasi 2-0, 2-0, 2-1, 2-0, 2-0. It's crazy. This is a result from last Saturday night. But just the same, ito rin yung resulta nung una naglaban ang Bren at Work. I gotta ask, besides it being funny na meron tayong ganitong kontrapelo dynamics, what could it be? I mean, for Work and Work and Bren, medyo malinaw yun, malinis yun eh, right? Like, they've been scrim partners, it's master and student, but is there more? Potentially, is there more, Paolo?
Para sa akin, I think nung unang series nila against Work, basang-basa na nila yung laro na. Yung Bren, basang-basa na ng Work. Basang-basa na nila yung Work. There you go. Since sabi mo nga, they are scrim partners, so they know their play style, kilala nila yung mga hero pool ng players. As for Onic, nung pinanood ko yung replay ng laban nila, was it 2 weeks ago, I believe? It was nung first game, na-surprise sila with the Estes pick, and I think that they just got outdrafted. Okay, na-surprise lang. Pero second game, it was just Bren just played bad, honestly. Bren just played bad the second game against Onyx. So, there's no excuses. Alam ko si Coach Ducky wala rin dun at the time. It was EJ drafting for them, I believe. Yeah, I think it was EJ drafting for them for both the last 2 weeks. So, no excuses there as well. Kasi, nung tinalo ng Bren yung work, si EJ rin yung nag-draft nun eh. So, that shouldn't be the reason. So, honestly, I don't even know why this rock, paper, scissors meta even exists. Di ko rin siya gets eh. Di ko rin siya gets kung bakit yan.
Yeah, it's just funny that it's here. Paolo, you brought up how Onyx comes into this whole picture. So let's bring that up. Onyx was beaten by Work the Friday, I believe. We opened with that. And it was a rematch. And it was a replay, di ba? Sweep pa rin. Work on Onyx. Reptar, ano naman dynamic dito? Bakit ganito to?
Oh, well, there's something about Work on Onyx that they seem to be more similar than a lot of people give them credit for. Like previously with Onyx, back na nandun pa si Oh My Venus and Wise, they, even in the early parts of the season, even until now, kaya they're one of the lowest unique heroes pick. Is that idea of kung hindi naman sira, wag natin ayusin, then we'll just try new things if natalo tayo or we feel like, okay, kailangan natin magdagdag ng bago, which doesn't happen a lot. Work Oster Force, then they were somewhat like that early on in the season. Eventually, they increased their experimentations or their diversity, I guess, as the season went on. And the dynamic of Work on Onyx, I don't know, every time I watch them, I always just look at two things. How they draft, and then the relationship with the side lanes. 3 Martizi and Kosei versus Dilar and Iakno. Maybe it's that inherent bias that when I watch these two that I tend to focus on them more, and I'm thinking na a lot of the game is determined on how these two play. How is Dilar gonna play? Is he gonna be super aggressive with cutting the lanes? Invades Iakno, how fast is he gonna be able to rotate out? Ano yung pick ni Kosei? How does it affect Iakno's play? Good. And or during that time, was it Iakno or Marky yung naglaban ng Work and Onyx? I think it was already
Iakno. It's always Iakno.
Iakno, yeah, exactly. It's always Iakno. So yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. These two teams. I think there's more to it than what I just said. Of course, Jay and Unravel is always a fun matchup to watch. Unravel has improved a lot. Jay's always been very consistent throughout the season. And then Kari versus RTZ. It's if you really look at it, because these two are also by age average, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, sila yung pinakabata na teams natin. Right?
Yeah. Eldest sa Work is 21. Yeah.
So they're very close in age. So andun din yung yung factor ng these are the youngest teams na okay, some of them have experience, pero andun pa rin yung mainit na dugo that you see from the younger players na risky plays but then the potential for highlight blocks, buster moves.
Yeah. I have a little bit of insight. Kausap ko si Onyx analyst Ocho Gahaba the other day, and we do this every time every time magkalaban si Leos Murphy tsaka si Ocho Gahaba. I'm good friends with both of them. May narinig ako, sabi nila parang may bad days na ulit talaga si Onyx. Ang natatimingan na pag magkalaban si Work tsaka si Onyx, yun yung mindset ni Onyx, and it's just it's bad beats. Like we just can't get over it. Paolo, is that a factor? You think that comes into play? Parang how do you get by your bad days or your off days?
I think kada team meron ganun, honestly. Even if you're the best team in the world, you will always have bad days. Okay? Katulad nga ng kanina, Bren versus Onyx, I think that might have been a bad day for Bren and then it was a good day for Onyx. It's just a coincidence at this point. Pati yung team ko, ganito eh. Minsan, super halimaw maglaro, tas the next week, anong nangyari sa inyo? Parang difference kayo maglaro,
Yeah,
I think all teams have this. Honestly, I think all teams have this. And I think, yun siguro yung rason kung bakit nag-exist tong rock, paper, scissors meta nila.
Yeah. So, I don't know. My next question is, again, intro tayo sa Onyx beating Bren, which is, by the way, the start and the end of this whole rock, paper, scissors meta. Kasi sila rin, parating lang na isahan yung Bren. So, kung yung Work, natatimingan yung off days ng Onyx, kapag Bren naman, parang, mainit si Onyx, hindi mapipigilan. And they're the ones who started it also. Sila yung unang win and loss nung triangle na to. 2-1, in like week 1 or week 2 of MPL season 7. Now my question is, might we see this dynamic again in the playoffs? Diba? Mauulit ba to? Kasi yung playoffs natin, I don't know if the schedule has been confirmed just yet, but it's gonna be quite a long stretch as well. It's gonna be a few days, and there will be at least 2 matches before you're eliminated for the upper bracket teams. And the lower bracket teams, isa lang yan, 1 life ka lang. So there's a lot of room for these for these 3 teams to match up again. So lalabas ba ulit to sa playoffs? Reptar, what do you think?
Well, hopefully it's not a replay, but definitely it's a storyline or a factor that we have to fare into. And don't be surprised if kami mga casters, lahat kami, that's something we're gonna focus on in the pre-match or in the stories for the matches going into the games here. Kasi it's gonna be interesting if, okay, Work Oster Force, what if sa playoffs doon nila natalo yung Bren Esports in a very crucial match? And then what if Onyx PH drops a game or wins a game against either of those? So yeah, it's something we have to watch out for and consider kasi it acknowledging or being aware of storylines like that, parang nag-a-add siya ng ibang layer sa mga laro na hindi lang sa uy malakas ito, malakas siya. It's different mindsets to really consider.
Parang may kryptonite, may tunay na lason that has history.
Oh.
Paolo, my question to you, I hate to put you on the hot seat, my friend, but
That's all good.
of this rock, paper, scissors meta, ano sa tingin mo yung unang magbe-break? This is a question brought up by Excalibur over the chat. Just a wild guess, man. Ano yung unang magbe-break?
Depende sa bracketing yan, hindi ko pa nakikita yung bracketing. Pero kung let's say
possibly,
sa upper bracket yung Work at saka yung Onyx, alam ko lower bracket rin sila. And with Bren, I think they're a lower bracket with Bren.
Could
so
be.
I think that might be the first one to break. Bren and Onyx. Feel ko talaga pag playoff mode na yung Bren. Yun na yun eh. Serious mode na eh. Iba na eh.
Something.
Hopefully, I don't wanna sound biased. Doon ako nagtatrabaho, bakit ako pa yung natanong dito? Walang iya. Pero I think,
but it's
for me, that's the one.
Facts. Diba? It's facts. Oh,
yeah,
diba?
facts.
You put Bren on the back foot, aakitin nila yung lower bracket, diba? Like they've done it at M2. It's not a joke. Reptar, how about you? What's your take? What might be the first to break? Barring the bracket possibilities. Huwag mo muna isipin yung bracket possibilities. Basta kunyari magkita lang sila, yun yung posible mangyari. What might change?
Balikan ko nga. I'm thinking about work and a part of me wants to say work and Bren because that would make things a lot interesting. But then, yeah, if the next time they meet us in the playoffs, I don't know, man. Baka this might not just be the season where the student will beat the master. Unless, what if work has a playoff mode? Na, of course, this is gonna be their first playoffs. So, what if? Meron yun. But, yeah, let's look into the matchup of work and Onyx, I guess. Again, there's just something about this rivalry, I guess you could call it. It's an unofficial rivalry, but it's there.
It's a 3-way rivalry.
Somewhat. It's a 3-way rivalry. I think we'll see a break in there.
Yeah. Ang healthy niya sa totoo lang. I love it. I love it that it's like it's one team beats the other. Tapos iikot-ikot sila. Kasi hindi siya balagbagan eh. Like nobody loses if one does, right? Like it's all may bawi. But again, we want to hear from you guys as well. Sa tingin nyo, sinong unang magbe-break? Ano yung unang magbabago kapag nakita kita itong mga teams na to sa playoffs? We are gonna go on a quick break. When we come back, you're gonna be seeing a new segment here on MPL Recall para doon sa mga mahilig mag-trade ng stocks tsaka ng mga crypto. Yan. Abangan nyo, ma-enjoy nyo to. Don't go anywhere. MPL Recall will be right back. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving us a like and subscribe to the channel. You can find us on Facebook via the link in the description. Thanks.